Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2024 Mercedes Benz S580e 4MATIC. Huge shout out to Mercedes Benz Northlake for providing this luxury sedan for me today. Take a look at their website, that link is down in the description. So this S580 is finished off in Moonlight White Metallic. MSRP is $144,000. Now this is powered by the 3-liter inline 6-cylinder turbocharged engine along with the hybrid system, pumping out 510 horsepower, 553 pound-feet of torque. This utilizes the 9-speed automatic as well. It also has the 4MATIC all-wheel drive system, weighs in right around 5,500 pounds. 0 to 60 is 4.5 seconds. It has a top speed of 155 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 17.7 gallons. You'll expect to see around 23 miles per gallon on just gas alone, 60 miles per gallon combined, and this also has a total range of 46 miles on just the EV system alone. It also has a wheelbase of 126.6 inches. Its overall length is 208.2. It has a width of 76.9, a height of 59.2, and its ground clearance measures in at 5.1 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this S580, this particular model has the AMG Align package too, so it provides it with the front and rear bumpers as well as the wheels and a few other exterior goodies. So up front, you'll notice that for all of the chrome in the grille, it actually runs right through the sensor, so that way it can integrate it nicely. There's a forward-facing camera, plenty of cutouts provide a lot of cooling to that engine. There's also more chrome in the entire lower section, along with some more gloss black, all of the parking sensors as well. And then this has a set of LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals with a really nice design to them. And then there's also two Mercedes Benz logos up top. You have one just above the grille and then the hood emblem as well. Very subtle lines that come down the hood too, just to give it more of that elegant design. And then as we work our way to the side, like I said, this has the AMG wheels with a double spoke design to them. There's also the silver Mercedes-Benz brakes, which match nicely with these wheels. Now this also has power folding side mirrors. The base of them is gloss black. There's a turn signal and a camera, and then more white for the cap there. This also has the dual pane sunroof. All of the window trim is finished off in chrome too. And then you'll notice the very nice elegant lines that run down the side, just to blend it in nicely. And this model also has the door handles that pop out. So when the vehicle is unlocked, you can of course gain access. And when you lock the vehicle, they will become flush with the door. The side mirrors will also fold in too. And it just has a really nice, subtle design from the side. As we work our way to the back now, there's the very small trunk-mounted spoiler, backup camera, more chrome that runs through the power trunk, connecting the LED taillights, which have a nice look to them. And then there's more gloss black in the lower diffuser, as well as the chrome surround for the exhaust tips, and it also has the chrome accent that runs between them. Now, as we work our way to the cargo space, you can use the button on the key fob or the one up underneath to gain access to this cargo space. And you'll notice that we have some items in the back at the moment, but you still have a good amount of space. Now, the back seats do not fold down, but you do have a small cubby cut out there that you can gain access to the trunk if you need it. There's no storage underneath the floor either. There's also a hook where you can place some bags or any items that you would like to. So you have a good bit of space for this size. And then you can also close that power trunk or lock the vehicle at the same time, and that closes very quickly. Now there's also the proximity key. So as you enter the vehicle or approach the vehicle, the door handles will pop out and unlock, and then you can open it from there. Where this has a beautiful door panel. You'll notice all of the leather as well as the brushed aluminum accents for your release handle. There's all the seating controls, memory seating adjustments. These are even heated and ventilated. And then you'll notice there's 4 switches for both passenger doors in the rear. You can use those for not only the window, but for all these sunshades too. So there's one right here, there's one for the back window, and then you can adjust the other window, of course, sunshade for the rear glass, and then the sunshade for the moonroof up top. This also has the Burmester audio, a little bit of storage down below, and then all of the interior lighting you will see located throughout this entire vehicle. And then for these back seats, you have the pillow options, which is very nice, and then a beautiful stitched seat. And at 5'10", it is incredibly easy to enter this vehicle. Very large door opening, and then I can almost stretch my legs out with the amount of room that is down below. Now there's storage pockets, there's also some air vents, a little bit of storage in the middle, and then you have auxiliaries located down below. And at my height, 5'10", I have plenty of headroom. The seat is currently reclined. This is a perfect place to get chauffeured around. You have all these adjustments for the headrest as well as reclining, and it just gives you a great place to be. We have some dome lights up top. There's also another vent on that pillar. We have the moonroof, of course, with some more lights. And then right in the middle, this is a 5-seater, but if you don't have a middle passenger, you have a little bit of storage. There's the armrest, a little bit more hidden storage. And then you can also use these 2 doors to gain access to that trunk if needed. And there's more ambient lighting running behind those headrests. It's a very comfortable place to be. This is definitely where you want to ride around in the S-Class. Now, all 4 doors also have the soft close. So if you don't close it all the way, it will close the door for you. And then up front, the door panel is just like the rear. There's the addition of the lighting controls, your side mirror adjustments. You have additional sunshade controls that you can use. And then tucked away down below, there's the trunk release and a fuel cap release in that storage space. And then the front seats are just like the rear, including those pillows too. And as we work our way to the steering wheel now, we have the solid leather along with the gloss black entire surround here. Very nice accents surrounding more of the gloss black. But let's fire this back up. We have that button over on the right side to bring this to life, where we can look at the steering wheel controls now. We'll start over on this left side here, where there's cruise control settings, adaptive cruise, and then you have these 3 controls up top to go through the digital gauge cluster. So this is the current setting where miles per hour is on that left side. Right side, there's the tach, and you can also use those dials now to go through all this information within the center. Now, if you want to change the gauge cluster, simply push on home, and now you can go through some different layouts. So if we go to sport mode, now we have a different configuration where you can't go through that general info that I just showed. So it is fixed with the information that you see right here. And then you can go into executive, which is going to change it again, or you can go through that information in the middle if you would like to, but we now have different gauges. And then understated is going to be a little bit more calm. You'll notice it looks a little bit more like a clock with its design, and then there's no info in the middle that you can scroll through. So just depending on what you would like to see, you can also pull up the navigation so you can have that in full screen, and then you can go through a few others. Now, if you swipe up, now you can get into the head-up display. So that way you can control that as needed and go through that information, being able to turn that on and off, and then you can scroll through all of this. So this is what you can actually pull up on that head-up display once you have that on. So it's pretty easy to go through, and it provides you with a lot depending on what you would like to see. Now, this also has steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. On this left side, you have your turn signal along with your wiper blades, of course. On the right side, this is how you actually put the vehicle into gear. So with my foot on the brake, we will just pull this down. So that is drive. You'll notice that over on the bottom right side. If I push this up, now we are into reverse, where there's the backup camera and that 360 view. So you can just push on all of these shortcuts here. So that way you can see around the entire vehicle. You have some automatic adjustments as well as the parking sensors that you can turn on and off. And then you can also quickly pull up the forward-facing camera too. Now, neutral is going to be right in the middle of drive and reverse, and then park is going to be located on the end of that stalk. Now, over on this left side, there's the e-brake underneath, along with more of the ambient lighting. There's 2 air vents. And then right in the middle, we have 4 more air vents, along with a sub just above that. There's more ambient lighting running across the dash with some wood trim. And then coming back to the infotainment system now, this is where you can use controls over on the right side of the steering wheel now. So we have a favorites button. There's also Bluetooth and voice commands along with your audio. And then these controls here are identical to the ones on the left side. So you're going to be able to use those exactly the same way to further go through this information. So I can click on home, where now we have all of this information that we can scroll through. And of course, this is a touchscreen system too. So you can use it this way to further go through all of this information. And then you can quickly push on home on the steering wheel or the home icon down below to get back to that info. In the lower section too, we have your temperature controls along with fan speed. You have your climate menu that you can quickly get into. You have your heated steering wheel too, as well as where you would like the air to go. And then you also have your track and a back arrow too. We do have a few shortcuts up top that you can get into for your camera there and adjust that. And then you do have some favorites. If I push on the Mercedes car there, now you have a few more icons that you can go through. And then underneath that, we have a row of controls. There's shortcuts for your driving modes. So you can go into electric, you can go into hybrid, you have sport, and then an individual setting. There's also a shortcut to the camera system, so you can pull that back up. And we do have a shortcut for your battery. So currently this is how much charge is in the battery, and you have the rest of the information to go through as needed with that. If you push on the car, now we can go through some of this information like raising the vehicle. So we have that adaptive suspension. There's the manual shifting. You can also look at your active steering, lane keeping assist, and a few other tech features there. You have the hazards in the middle. There's the fingerprint touchpad that you can use and activate, and then power and mute and volume for your audio. Now underneath that, we have two cup holders. There's wireless charging tucked away over on that left side with some more auxiliaries, a little bit of storage, and you can actually hide that away once you put any items in or out. And then we also have the split design for the center armrest, where you have some more auxiliaries and a little bit of space, and then plenty of room in the glove box there. Up top, you have some garage door buttons underneath the rear view mirror, and then you also have some control buttons, you have some sunshade adjustments, and then you have the swipe here, where you can just swipe on that to open and close the sunroof as well as the sunshade too. So it's not an actual button, it's just nice that you can just swipe on that as needed. And then here's a look at visibility from the driver's seat. It's pretty easy to see over that right shoulder, same with the left too. You have a large window right there where you really don't have any blind spots. Now that we are behind the wheel of the S580 plug-in hybrid, I think this is a really cool option to go with. I own an X5 plug-in hybrid that actually has maybe the same engine. It has the 3-liter inline turbo with the hybrid system. And so you have a lot of different configurations that you can do with this, including charging it while you're driving. So you can probably get a longer range than what the manufacturer states. I know in my vehicle, I can go almost 600, 650 miles with charging it every day and of course utilizing the gas engine. So this is something that isn't really going to cost all that expensive to charge, since the total range is about 46 miles. It's not a full EV, so you're not having to charge it up to 250 miles, something like that. So I just use a normal 3-prong outlet for my car. It'll be charged in the morning and you are ready to go. So with that being said, let's put it into the hybrid setting, because that utilizes the horsepower that this has, the total horsepower. That's actually more than the outgoing engine that they had for this. So from second gear, here we go. Ooh. It's definitely quick, especially with the weight of this sedan. That'll get you up and move. It kind of pushed me back a little bit there. So it definitely has a healthy amount of power to it. Now this is not a vehicle that I guess you really need that power. You're not doing some performance driving with it, but it'll get up and merge and get up to speed if you need it to. As far as its handling goes now, we are coming up to a sharp right. So let's downshift. And I'm slowing down a little bit more than usual. Not bad. You can definitely feel that it's not a super tight suspension. After all, this is an S-Class Mercedes. It feels like we're just driving a couch down the road. I can feel kind of the floatiness to it, and this is all in good terms. That's why you're buying this car. You don't want that harsh, stiff ride by any means. But it would be nice to maybe see, let's put it into sport mode, and we can see if that tightens up around some of these turns. A little bit hard to tell, but you can still kind of feel it floating a little bit. But it feels like it maybe got a little bit tighter. But of course, this isn't something that you're going around turns at max speed with. But yeah, let's move on to the suspension now and how this drives, because if you're buying this S-Class, this is where you want to just get away from the rest of the world, basically. While you're driving this down the road, you aren't going to hear much. I can hear a little bit of the road. We're not on the smoothest road right now, but there's no wind noise, no tire noise or anything. It's just some of the bumps in the road you can hear. But this is very quiet. At the speeds I'm going right now, this is what you would expect from the S-Class. Even with a vehicle passing here, we have a diesel. really even hear that. So you're buying the S-Class because you want that added luxury drive. You want the comfort, you got the pillows here. It's a nice place where you want to be chauffeured around. To drive it is very nice too. So in sport mode, second gear, here we go. Shifts are pretty quick, and this sounds good too. You can hear that engine and exhaust slightly, which I think is great. Even for a more luxury focused vehicle like this, if you want to have a little bit of sporty fun, it's very subtle, but you can hear it, which is nice. So this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the S580. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see the head-up display, but it's massive. From my angle, it looks like it's 1.5 feet wide or so. So you have a lot of information there that is incredibly easy to see with the terrain differences right there. It's probably the largest head-up display that I've seen in a vehicle, but this is the place to be. Steering is also very nice. This is a vehicle that you can definitely drive all the time. It's going to be incredibly comfortable. If you're buying an S-Class, you know what you're getting into with this vehicle. And obviously there are a lot of different options that you can go with depending on your preference and your budget. This model here has roughly $10,000 worth of options on it. And so there's a huge array of what you can get and can't get for the S-Class. Now, as far as turning, like I mentioned earlier, with all-wheel steering, check out how tight that turning was. Very impressive. Definitely sounds good. Let's go into the electric system now. And it's really neat. With the 42 miles or so, from personal experience with my X5 plug-in hybrid, you're not really going to use the EV system for actual driving. I've never really done that. It's mainly for parking lot situations where this starts up using the EV. So you're backing out of your garage, you're going at slow speeds in a parking lot, something like that. I mean, obviously, like right now I can put it in the full EV, but there's not enough miles on it to really want to do that, basically. So it's good for being in the background, having that hybrid assistance. Slower speed situations, you can go into EV. So if you're moving the car around, you don't have to start up the engine. So I think it's a nice assistance to have, but you're not really going to drive around in the full EV. If you're going to do that, you might as well buy a full EV where you have 200 so miles on the range. But you have that option if you'd like to. And then with that system, you also get more power than the outgoing model. So it's going to give you a lot more, which is of course great. And with one last acceleration, that is going to end it for the 2024 Mercedes Benz S580e. Once again, a huge shout out to Mercedes Benz Northlake for providing this sedan for me today. Take a look at their website. That link is down in the description. Give the video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. And I will see you all in the next video.